Assalamualaikum everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video I'm going to tell you the basic anatomy, which will include all your bones, the bones of your head, the facial bones, upper limb bones, lower limb bones, pelvic girdle and your thoracic cage. It does not matter whether you are associated with the medical profession or you are not. I think because anatomy is the study of the human body, so you should know uh, at least the basic anatomy, the name of the bones, the organs. So let's get started. So we will start from with the bones of your head. This bone here, which forms your forehead, this one is the frontal bone. Then this one is the temporal bone. This is the parietal bone. And if we see from the posterior aspect, then this one is the occipital bone. All these bones, they are connected by the sutures. As you can see, these lines between the bones, so these are basically the sutures. These sutures are present in the prenatal life, but in the postnatal life, after some time, these bones, they fuse together, and by the process of synostosis, and they fuse together, and these sutures, they disappear. Now this was the external aspect of the cranium. If you want to see the internal aspect also, let's hide the frontal bone. So this bone here is the sphenoidal bone. The sphenoidal bone also contribute, as you can see, it is also contributing to the formation of your orbital cavity. And this one here is the sphenoidal bone. Now your facial bones. So this one here shown in the green is the zygomatic bone. Now this process of the zygomatic bone that is articulating with the frontal bone is the frontal process of the zygomatic bone. This is your maxilla, the left maxilla. This is your nasal bone, left nasal bone. Then this one here is the lacrimal bone. This again the maxilla. This is the ethmoid bone. And then this bone here is the vomer. This one above vomer is again the ethmoid bone. And this is your maxilla, right maxilla. This is your mandible bone. So the part of the maxilla, this part here, so the part of the maxilla that is contributing to the formation of the orbital cavity, this process is called as the frontal process. And this one here is the orbital surface of the maxilla. So this is your orbit, right? So we divide the orbit into four walls. There are four walls of the orbit. The first one here is this one is the superior wall. Then this one is the medial wall, the inferior wall, and then the lateral wall. Now let's see which of the bones are contributing in the formation of all the four walls of the orbit. Starting from the superior wall, this one here is the frontal bone. The part of the frontal bone that is contributing in the formation of the superior wall of the orbital cavity, this one here is the orbital plate of the frontal bone. Now let's isolate the frontal bone so you can see the orbital plate of the frontal bone. This one here shown in the blue is the orbital plate of the frontal bone. Now the medial wall of the orbital cavity is being formed by the maxilla. This one here shown in the green is the maxilla. This is the lacrimal bone and the ethmoidal bone. These three bones are contributing in the formation of the medial wall of the orbital cavity. So the Now let's talk about the inferior wall. The inferior wall is being formed by the maxilla. This is the maxilla. Most of the part of the inferior wall of the orbital cavity is contributed by the maxilla, and to some extent the zygomatic bone also contributes to the formation of the inferior wall of the orbital cavity. Not the whole zygomatic bone, but this part, this process of the zygomatic bone, which is the maxillary process, as it is articulating with the maxilla, so we name it the maxillary process. So this maxillary process is contributing in the formation of the inferior wall of the orbital cavity. Now the lateral wall of the orbital cavity is being contributed by it is being formed by this process of the zygomatic bone. This process is the frontal process of the zygomatic bone because it articulates with the frontal bone, and also the body of the zygomatic bone is also contributing in the formation of the lateral wall of the orbital cavity. This one here is the the mandible. So the mandible, which is forming your chin, then the two zygomatic bones, they are forming your cheek prominences. That's all for this video. In the next video I will talk about the bones of the upper limbs, lower limbs, the pelvic girdle and the thoracic cage. And if you like the video, please like it, comment and share it. Also subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.